driver's going to notice the people on the street, but kids with the headphones on and on their phones not paying attention and so on, because you won't hear it.
What noise is like on the street?
You can turn that, they can turn that on or off. And we're working at making it programmable.
Not the reverse sound, but
The reverse sound is not.
But is it not that? But is it on right now?
It was on, that was just running.
Oh.
We're going to make it programmable. I'm going to personally recommend you use like Thunderstruck or something for AC/DC, so the kids will really get out of it.
So you're from upstate?
Yeah, whereabouts? I live outside Saratoga.
Oh, I went to Stratford, right?
Oh, all right. I live in Boston. I'm originally from Queens, but I've been upstate for a good number of years.
Hi everyone. Today we are at the Town Hall Green in Stratford, and this is a Lion Electric bus.
One of our lead technical people played hockey at Skidmore.
Oh, really?
Dave was, I think, class of 15.
Yeah, I don't know, Dave, but
Hi.
that's all right.
All right. Here's what you've all been waiting.
Let's get on the bus.
Okay, sounds good.
You can get in. Here, let me just walk you all around the bus first.
Do you want me to?
Let's take a picture first.
Well, we're going to take a look at
Yep, we're good.
This is not a good spot for it.
Oh, okay.
So either go into the parking lot or
All right, so we're going to walk across the street. Is there a ratio of how much you produce? That's called a class type B. Type B is just coming off the production line. That was the second one. Just older than 10 years. Way back when all this stuff was so that's what our freedom is. I don't know that it's first. We could do it, but I don't. Why do you? Is that considered to be a safe
Visibility, total line of
Well,
sight.
we also have more visibility with our seat than most buses. All the drivers comment about how much better.
Wow, that's really interesting. I think I heard. I think I watched a Zoom
they're so
call.
quiet, and kids nowadays have the earbuds and they're so distracted.
So
There's
we're
a way after, like, you can program it to sound off after it reaches a certain speed.
Oh, okay.
We also have the small one, the Type A.
Is there a default speed?
I don't want to be talking in your feet.
Oh, no worries. No.
Hi, everybody.
This is Brianni. She's from Lion Electric. Anything to say? Just exciting. It's so exciting. We're so excited. We're switching locations because the bus is in the way. They did beautiful at the high school. Looks great. Right.
All right. as you guys can see, this is a little bit different than a traditional school bus. There's no engine per se. There is a drive motor located forward of the rear axle. It's really the only movable part on this bus. This bus has essentially 28 parts compared to thousands for a traditional school bus. This particular model has hydraulic brakes. They're the same hydraulic brakes that both Bluebird and Thomas use on their bus, so parts in, for people that already have those buses, parts inventory management is even easier. What you have under here, this particular body, you have your washer fluid, you have brake fluid located over there. There is a battery management system that cools the batteries in the summer, heats them in the winter, so there is a cooler as well.
It is cool. I just put it like this.
You're not doing oil changes, you're not doing anything like that. When people ask me about maintenance on the bus, it's typically brakes, tires, and windshield wipers. There's not a lot of consumables associated with the bus at all. We have blue bumpers and blue tires. I think Connecticut allows that. The reason we do that is to let first responders and anybody else know it's an electric vehicle. It is highly electrified. We build our bus in one-piece composite body. And the reason why we do composite is we're a Canadian company. Although we are opening a manufacturing facility in Joliet, Illinois, and we are traded up in the New York Stock Exchange. But this one-piece composite body is not going to rust. Road salt, anything else that might cause rain deterioration, rust, is not going to happen. The stairwells are also composite, so children trapped in salt and stuff. Everything is one piece except the skirts. And the reason we have the skirts in different pieces is that's where most body damage will occur. Buses rounding a turn with snowbanks, things of that nature. These can become depressed. If it's so damaged, you can easily just replace the one piece. With the composite body, sometimes it's as easy as just popping it out. So, the school bus design will be built. We build for all 50 states, so we understand the specs of Connecticut. Our bus will meet Connecticut specs. We can build this bus up to 77 passengers, but it's 77 passengers, and again, that's not high school students, that we're talking elementary school. At 77 passengers, we can only go to a 100-mile range because the additional batteries would throw off the weight with the additional students. Typically, this is built in 62 to 65 or 66 students. It has 100, 125, or 155-mile range, as we talked about. This has 100, has 3 battery packs located just behind the front wheel. And this is a custom designed chassis for electric. So it's not a retrofit, it's not a conversion of existing bus. It has frame rails that run down the middle, and batteries reside on there. So at 100 miles, there's 3 battery packs. Each battery pack contains 44 kilowatts. At 125, we have a 4th battery pack. At 155, we add a 5th, which will be behind the rear axle for weight discussion. Anybody have any questions or anything?
Yeah, I've got no agenda in terms of what I'm about to ask you, but the batteries, they're lithium.
Yeah, lithium-ion
And
batteries.
how are they rated in terms of, we've heard a lot about safety.
Sure. We've had, in terms of leaks and things of that nature, well, our batteries, as I say, that are strung together, there's 12 smaller batteries in one large pack, and they're in a steel encased compartment, so there's no leak. Our batteries right now, in about 5 years of history, we see about a half a kilowatt, a half a percentage of power loss each year. So between the composite body and assuming this power loss rate remains consistent, at 15 years, you're still going to have 90 to 92% of your battery capacity. So keeping the math simple for myself, a 100-mile bus will still go 90 miles in 15 years. Now, I think your state doesn't allow 15-year buses.
So is that
10, 12, 10, 12.
how much use? We have some options up to spares up to 12.
Okay.
How much use is that? Because if you say it's only degrading 10%,
Again, the average people using the buses 5 days a week, twice a day. And again, the average route in the U.S. is about 40 miles. We do have some routes in rural areas where they're going 70, 80, 90 miles. We have 4 buses going into New Hampshire at the end of July. One of those buses is a 70-mile route. So, yeah. Poor driver. One of the things we hear from the drivers is I never knew how loud these kids were. You'll see when you get on the bus, it's really quiet.
Show us where the port is for the charge.
Yeah.
Take a standard.
It takes a standard J7, the industry standard outside of Tesla is a J1772 charger. Our standard configuration puts the charge port in front. We can also build it in the rear. It's about a $3,000 option to put it in the rear. With a DC fast charge, 90 minutes, an hour to get a full charge. Yeah. The big drawback right now, and I said earlier somewhat derisively, is people are going to build 200-mile buses. Who needs it? But the big drawback is this is not a bus right now, even at 155 miles. You're not going to take this on the kids through a school trip to Metropolitan Museum Park. You know, you're not going to the Children's Museum in Boston or anything of these things. And that's where it comes into play. And after school events, sporting events, which typically can be well outside the district. I know some school, states, athletic sections are very wide geographically. But if you look here, front charge is the standard. Here's where you plug it in.
Just that little guy.
And if you look,
Huh.
I kind of
no
say
worries.
it's idiot-proof. There's only one way to plug it in. You cannot plug it in wrong. There's only one way to plug it in. So when you plug it in, you come in the morning, it's been charged. These buses we have telematics on our bus. So from the moment you key the bus on till you key it off, we have a data center tracking everything about that bus. If your torque is not operating at 100%, we're going to know before you are. More often than not, repairs are done over the air via software. See the three lights above the school bus? When all three are lit, it tells you this bus is 100% charged. If two are lit, one is flashing, it's at 66% or somewhere between 66% and 100, 1, 33 and a third, and so on and so on. You don't need, and I started to say our telematics allows you don't have to buy a very expensive smart charger. You can buy a dumb charger. You can get a charger for as little as $2,000, $2,500, and it will allow programming that. So if you talk to your utility company, negotiate with them, and you get a rate of 11 cents a kilowatt hour beginning at 2 a.m., you can program this bus to come on and charge at 2 a.m.
Wow.
Charge in one night on a level 2 charger?
From a fully depleted. If your batteries are 0, it's going to be 6 to 8 hours, depending on your
That's the 80% or 100%? What
But
about
again, nobody, it's not common for buses to run, people to allow their buses to run down to 0. Because people will do their routes in the morning, more often than not, if the school bus comes in, they'll charge. There's an opportunity to charge. There's also vehicle-to-grid technology. So there are two-way chargers where you can charge the bus. If anybody has solar power panels, you can do this at your home. You can sell power back to the grid. You can create a storage facility to use on campus during peak times in the summer when AC is cranking, power consumption's at its greatest, and utility costs are at their highest. So there are a number of features that are available as well.
And you said 90 minutes for a DCFC?
About, yeah.
Is that also to 100%?
Yeah. And again, that's from 0. Yeah. Over here, if you guys would just step around here and see. You have two 12-volt batteries that are going to power your accessories and things of that nature. I alluded earlier, it has a preheat feature. You're going to charge off the grid using the 12-volt batteries. This also has a kill switch, for lack of a better term. You turn this to the left, to the off position, all power to the bus is done. There's no power running, the bus will not run. And that's there in the event of an incident. First responders come, they can cut the power there. Right here below the driver position is another switch. So you have two ways of cutting the power. If you notice back here, anything that's orange is high voltage. You're not going to touch high voltage. This orange tubing sheathing is covering a rubber sheath that has wires running through it. If by any chance anything under the bus, under the hood, anything is compromised, and that rubber is cut, the wires exposed, the bus will shut down automatically. So there's no risk of exposure to high voltage electricity. You know, we've tried to really think the whole design process through on these buses, not just from an operational, but from a safety perspective as well. When we deliver the bus, we train the technicians, we train the drivers, we invite the first responders, because more often than not, they've not seen one before. We also will invite your local DOT inspector, especially in Connecticut, because they could be fun. And we'll try and acquaint them with the vehicle as well, so there's no surprises for them. I had the bus in New Jersey last week for a show, and New Jersey DOT was there, and it was a very productive meeting because they actually had one concern, which I was able to address for them. But if they weren't aware of it, it might have been an issue when someone took delivery and might not pass inspection right away. And you don't want a bus that's not on the road. It's a one-piece roof. Typically our roofs are white, but some states don't allow that, but whatever it is. So it's a very easy bus to operate and to maintain. Anybody have any questions?
Will any of the buses, electric buses, have any kind of cargo holders for any?
There is a discussion about the flat nose Type D. I believe that is in design now. I don't think the C right now. And again, we know for sporting events after school, transport packs.
From school to school,
Yeah.
musical equipment
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah. We believe we have the space to make that work. We don't have it right now. Right now, Lion has about 415 electric buses on the road. That's the most in North America. And our buses have driven over 11 million road miles. And they've been relatively incident.
That's great.
You know, everybody has this big fear that they're going to load a bus up with kids and it's going to be off on a hill 40 miles from nowhere and all of a sudden the battery's going to die. Hasn't happened yet. Can't say it won't happen, but it hasn't happened yet. My luck, it'd probably be if I was driving the bus.
Do the battery packs tend to outlast the life of the vehicle itself?
Yes, they will. And for no other reason, some states like Connecticut have 10-year operating limitations. Now, this leads to a second conversation, which I won't get into in depth, but utility companies are becoming very interested in electric vehicles, and they want the buses. Dominion Energy put up $200 million in Virginia to fund the incremental cost difference between a gas diesel bus and an electric bus. One provision: we own the batteries. So they're using vehicle to grid while the bus is in operation. When the vehicle comes out of operation, they take the batteries, scrap the bus, and again, they're creating power fields with these hundreds of buses and batteries that they're going to string together and do whatever it is. So Duke Energy has become engaged. Niagara Mohawk's doing a project in Beverly, Massachusetts on a very small scale. So it's something else. There is potentially, and this is a deeper conversation that we don't have to get into, there is potentially secondary and tertiary revenue life from the bus, because it does cost a lot more to buy now. You could buy a gas or diesel bus for $100,000 for argument's sake. This one's going to cost you, without any grant funding, $335,000. Energy costs are 80 to 85% less. That's now. With gas prices keep increasing, that benefit will increase. And maintenance runs about 60%. Again, no changes, oil changes, tune-ups, or anything like that. Anybody have any questions?
Based on those numbers, what is the estimated return on investment if Connecticut?
If you're driving the bus 100 miles a day, there's 180 school days a year, you're going to see an ROI without a significant grant of about 8 years.
How many years?
8.
8 years.
About. And I could run the numbers for you. Depends. We can tailor it to each route. You tell me the route and mileage. You know, if there's any grant dollars available, type bus, we have a formula we can do. But again, that doesn't factor in, and this is just coming into its own vehicle to grid. Some estimates say vehicle to grid can return $15,000 to $18,000 a year from the utility on cost benefit or cost savings. You say, well, keep the money, take it off our bill, whatever it may be. And that's a very non-technical, non-analytical approach, but there is that type of thinking that's out there at this point in time. Any other questions?
So we still have to own diesel buses too, right? It's going to be a mix. It can't be 100% electric.
If you have routes that are going, if you have a requirement that's going to go beyond 155 miles, at the present time you can't go 100% electric.
What you said for school sporting
School
events,
trips
field
and things
trips,
like that, yeah.
you will
Now,
use
But is it worth it with the overall savings to your fleet to charter DATCO to go into the city for a day? You know, that's a business decision I can't make for the entity that's purchasing the bus, but it's a consideration. You could do charter for one-offs. There is that. DATCO's done pretty good with that in Connecticut, I know that much. And they're looking at electrifying their school bus fleet as well. They are an international dealer besides a charter company and a school bus contractor as well.
The bus is right now on and like idling. So to speak.
Yeah. That's a. I'm not sure why we're making that much money. Sure, if we turn it off, we'd probably lose that set. Yes.
Well, it's barely a sound.
Yeah.
That should be quiet.
Oh man. I think that's the heat.
No, there's no heat on.
No, I mean like the.
Potentially, yeah, it could be. Could be the battery management system cycling the motor for that. Yes, you're right.
Really interesting.
Anybody want to go for a ride?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Step on in.
I'm driving, right?
You have a CDL?
No. A cool driver's license?
So we're going out for ice cream now, right?
That's what I'm saying. I'll take you guys. Okay. So we're walking up. What's your name?
Tommy.
Tommy. Jenna, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Wow, cool seatbelt design too.
What's your dog's name?
Gaia.
Gaia.
Yes.
Cool.
All right. I know, this is really cool. So they have 3 seat belts in the seat up here, which I've never seen.
We'll all get used.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, good.
I know, right?
You're getting like a flashback of everyone. Open all the windows.
But they only open like 2.
Yeah, this is better.
So we've got an emergency exit there, emergency door. Looks like your average bus, but it's cool seat belts.
Anybody local who wants to instruct Tommy where we should go?
I'm gonna sit right in front of you, so I can.
That's not what you want to see. Moving up, yes.
Closer.
Everyone get in.
Have your head sticking out the window.
Yeah.
New York Times, right?
This is like really a day of school.
Here's a fun fact for you. I was banned from the school bus for life in 6th grade. And that's the absolute God's honest truth. I ran in 6th grade. There was a kid named Anthony Merrill hanging out the window. I threw a snowball at him and I missed him by 1 window. And unfortunately, that window was the driver's window.
Oh no.
And I went to a Catholic school.
Let's get some air in this one.
How many minutes do you do this? 4? 7? 3?
I'm already 10 minutes late for a meeting, so.
Now, this is part of Lion's hardcore sales pitch. Signed for the bus so we don't let you off. I want 5 out of National. I want 3 out of Stratford.
Chris,
Wow, and we're rolling.
for a meeting, so let's go by the Board of Education.
There you go.
Drop her off.
All right, there's that ice cream chime sound if nobody heard it earlier.
I actually thought that was coming from somewhere else.
Now, there's 2 school districts. It is going to be a programmable feature. There's 2 school districts in Missouri, Knox, Missouri, that share an electric bus from Lion. And they've come up with an idea. The team that loses, the team that wins the annual football game between the 2 schools, their fight song is going to be the chime. So the losing team has to listen to that for the next 12 months.
That's really cool.
I still think you should go with AC/DC or something.
I'm not sure I'd want this going through my neighborhood.
Well, right up there to drive, I have a switch, hit it, it's off. California is now mandating you have this alert on your buses. Yeah.
So do all the
Smart.
seatbelts.
That's an option. Connecticut is not does not require seatbelt.
When they do come with seatbelts, are they always like car seatbelts, like over the shoulder?
You can buy, this is what's called the 3-point belt, lap, shoulder, or you can get lap belts.
Are they the same price?
No. These seats, these add significant cost.
Significant.
Well, several thousand.
Can you add harnesses to these seats?
If you have to get it with the manufacturer, otherwise you have to replace the seats. They're a component of the seats. You can't add it after the fact.
Okay.
And they also, we do build buses that have the integrated child seats. And typically, if you get that, most states require you to have at least 2 rows of it. 2 rows, 2 sides. Breeze helps a little.
Yeah.
If it's below 15 miles an hour.
Chinese door for the kids. By the time they get this home, they're like,
But it's better than hearing a diesel bus come down the road.
What do drivers say about these buses? Do they have a preference about this or an internal?
Typically, it's our understanding that the districts that have, nobody's got a full fleet conversion. Twin Rivers in California has about a 40% fleet conversion, but everybody wants to drive the electric bus.
They're preferred.
They're preferred. And they're a part of the training is we'll teach you how to turn a 100-mile bus into a 125-mile bus. Because when you come off the accelerator pedal, there is no gas. If he comes off the accelerator, you'll feel the bus start to slow. You might hear a little bit of a whir. That's the battery, that's what's called regenerative braking, but you don't have to hit the brake. As soon as you come off the accelerator, the bus will slow, and it's feeding kinetic energy back into the batteries.
Wow.
So you're not going to fully charge your bus back up that way, but you can recover some battery throughout the course of the ride.
Wondering, like with our old bicycles, how you put the little light on the front thing.
Yes, and when you pedal, you go, yes, very much so. Yeah.
Such a pleasant ride.
the top on the outside where it tells you if it's fully charged back. Is there something inside the bus that shows the driver lap also?
Do you see the dashboard right there? The left it says 87.
Okay, yep.
That's the mile, the range left on the batteries. And there is something on the dashboard. There's redundancy. The middle is the speedometer, and on the right it's telling you your kilowatt consumption at any given point in time. And then within that is a whole set of smart features to program the bus and reprogram it, timing, all kinds of things. And that's part of the training. And when we deliver it, we train you. We'll come back in 6 months, and then wherever as needed or whenever requested, at no charge. Yeah, this is, the bus drivers say they hate it because they can hear the kids. But you know, there are studies that say students who ride to school on electric bus, and they're not done by Lion, they're done by the Brookings Institute, have superior academic performance in the STEM subjects.
Wow.
The thinking is, it's a quiet bus. They're not screaming to be heard on the bus. It's not. It's a calmer ride. They get to school in a calmer manner, more conducive.
You mentioned a few things that Lion offers, like the grant writing and the analytics that the bus spits back to you. Are those services all included with the purchase of the Lion vehicle?
The analytics service costs $225 per year.
Not a lot.
Not
against the.
Everything else is.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we have 5 grant writers. And when we write your grant, we know what to write. And if you guys are just changed your light bulbs because you're going to a more energy efficient bulb, if you've got a clean energy committee and you're doing other things within the district to improve the environment, to save on energy, those are the things. So we show it not as you guys are just going, free money, I'll take it. It's part of an ongoing initiative that the district is actively pursuing to make the community a better, cleaner, safer.
I guess you guys are masters in like making that narrative and writing.
Our grant writers are very experienced, yeah. They're all degreed literacy literature majors, English majors. The salespeople are the illiterate.
The word salad always comes out at the most inopportune time.
Doesn't it?
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Very nice.
Thank you.
like playing.
Guy is your dog? Yeah. Thank you very much. I will.
Thanks, Tommy.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Hi. Yep. And that was our ride.
How are you?
Thanks, Daphne. It was nice meeting you.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so that concludes our ride and demonstration from Kevin. He's awesome, and we hope you enjoyed. This was a super cool experience for everyone. We're glad that everyone came out. Whoever watched, thank you. And you guys will be able to watch this once I wrap this up. All right, everyone, bye.